Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Welcome back to the SEO.co podcast. In this series, we're going to go over the beginning steps of how to start an SEO company. It's a good time to be in the search engine optimization industry, or the SEO industry. There are more than 63,000 searches per second on an average day, and most consumers and business owners rely heavily on Google when researching new products and services. Moreover, the industry is certainly large enough to have enough cheese to go around. Most businesses have adapted by putting at least a little time and effort into their search ranking strategy. Unfortunately, SEO is too time-intensive and technically complex for non-experts to pursue on their own time. That's where SEO agencies come in. SEO agencies provide critically in-demand SEO services to the millions of business owners who need them and profit from their efforts. If you've been in the SEO industry for a while, you'll likely have some idea of what it takes to start a successful SEO agency. But even if you're new, launching an SEO company is well within your grasp. In this guide, we're going to go over high-level steps for starting an SEO company of your own, including how to choose a direction for your business and how to provide high-quality services for your clients. By the end of this guide, you may not be ready to write up an entire business plan, but you'll at least get your feet wet in the beginning stages of starting an SEO company. So let's start with the blueprint. We'll start by going over the high-level steps you'll need to take when building an SEO agency from scratch. Then we'll dive into each of these topics and explore them in depth. This way you'll be able to examine each phase of the process in context. First, choose a niche. Starting a generic SEO agency is a bad idea, in part because the competition is stiff. You'll be far more likely to attract clients and carve a space for yourself if you choose a specific niche. Decide which services you want to offer. Some SEO agencies specialize in one area, like on-site SEO or off-site SEO. Others attempt to offer not just SEO services, but other online marketing services as well, like PPC advertising campaigns or social media management. Next, develop your own online presence. If your website looks shoddy, or if you aren't ranking for any keywords of your own, you'll have a hard time getting people to take you seriously. Before you find clients, you'll need to flesh out your online presence. Next, perfect your offerings. How are you going to offer SEO services? Will you use employees and freelancers? Or will you build relationships with existing SEO agencies so you can scale consistently and provide quality services to your clients? After that, start a portfolio. You'll need some way to prove your capabilities to new clients, which often means gathering evidence of past work, collecting testimonials, and building a portfolio. But landing those initial clients can be tricky. After that, attract prospects. With a combination of inbound and outbound marketing strategies, you'll start attracting new prospects to your SEO agency. After that, you'll have to close deals. You'll need to prove your value to new prospects, getting them to sign a contract so you can onboard them as clients. And from there, retain those clients. Client retention is even more important than acquisition for SEO agencies. It'll help you improve your reputation. Plus, retention is cheaper than acquisition, so your profitability will soar. And finally, grow. Every SEO agency dreams of bigger and better prominence. So with that outline in mind, let's get started. So first, how do you choose a niche as an SEO company? To start, you're going to need to choose a niche, some target or direction that differentiates you from your competitors. This is important for a few reasons, most of which stem from the fact that there are tons of SEO agencies out there, at least 30,000 as listed by Clutch, and tens or even hundreds of thousands of unlisted or mom-and-pop operations. So why would a company choose you over these competitors who've been working for years to decades to build their reputation and online presence? It's intimidating for sure, but choosing a niche helps you in two major ways. First, you'll eliminate some of your competition immediately. If, say, 33% of SEO agencies focus on small businesses, 33% focus on mid-sized businesses, and 33% focus on large companies, choosing one battleground here would instantly remove 66% of your competition. Obviously, things aren't this simple, and many agencies target a broad range of customers, but that's where the second benefit comes into play. Many businesses want to work with a specialist rather than a generalist. If you specialize in SEO for law firms, almost any law firm would prefer you to a contemporary who doesn't have an area of specialty. Your in-depth industry knowledge instantly makes you more relevant and more appealing. Note that these advantages operate at a high level and in the context of your ground-level marketing tactics. For example, you'll find it much easier to reach rank 1 for highly specialized niche keyword phrases. So, how do you choose a niche? You'll want to consider 3 main factors which you can research or simply brainstorm. First, personal experience and interest. If you had a career in a specific industry, then transition to SEO, you might be able to bring your personal experience to the SEO field. For example, if you used to be a healthcare professional, you could focus on SEO for the healthcare field. You can also gravitate towards areas of personal interest. Secondly, current competition. How many SEO agencies are currently targeting this field? Generally speaking, the less competition you face, the better, all other factors being equal. And lastly, demand. Some industries have a higher need for SEO than others, so make sure you take demand into account. Old-school manufacturers who have legacy client bases will likely be less interested in SEO than emerging SaaS companies, for example. You'll need to find a balance between these factors and choose 1 or more niches in these categories. Next, let's talk about industry. One of the most common niche choices is based on industry. You can focus on a broad category like finance or something more specific like local credit unions. There's a wide variety of industries to choose from, and don't feel limited to select only one. There are SEO companies that have reached multi-millions in sales in the following industries just by focusing on dentistry, law, plumbing, roofing, and even pest control. Next, you need to consider size. You can also target clients based on their size. Large corporations tend to have bigger budgets, but they may also be more demanding and can be harder to land. Small businesses often want more personalized relationships and can be more flexible, but they may also have smaller budgets and more restrictions. Smaller companies also may need more local SEO expertise as opposed to a national focus. Next, location. New SEO agencies often start by looking for clients in their geographic proximity. There are definitely fewer competitors in your city of residence than there are nationwide. You can always expand a focus on a wider area later in your development. While we no longer focus on Seattle, we started here and still have a number of local clients. Next, needs. Some SEO agencies target new clients based on their needs. For example, you might specialize in catering to new entrepreneurs who have never heard of SEO before. Conversely, you might target other SEO agencies offering your superior experience and more bountiful resources to help them grow their own practices. As you can see, there's a lot of flexibility here, so try not to overthink it. If you aren't satisfied with your target niche, you can always pivot to something else in the future. And that's all we have for this episode. Join us on the next episode in this series as we move into choosing your services as an SEO agency. Thanks again for listening to the SEO.co podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.